ready to start the weight tutorial. So the first thing I did was created a folder on my desktop and I just called it weight tutorial. So then we go to File, Set Project, Desktop, weight tutorial. So you're in your weight tutorial, set. Then I went to Window, then Preferences, and if you go in Settings, I work in linear meters. That's because 1 meter in Maya is 1 meter. Giants editor. Joseph E15. Hello, I'm sure I did today. So, yeah, I work in meters, and we're going to go to Settings, Preferences, Plugin Manager, and it's important to have Maya to mr.mml bolded. If it's not bolded for you, this is how you can bold it up. But you do need Maya to Mentalry to do ambient occlusion. So what we're going to do, we're going to create just a basic weight. Not going to do anything too fancy. So we're going to make a cylinder. I'm going to pull it up, and I'm going to hit this button. Turn shading on, but you can also do it with number 5. So you have number 4 to show the wireframe, number 5 to show polygons, show it shaded, sorry. And the radius, if you're working in meters, you'll be able to use exactly the same settings. If not, then you'll obviously have to convert meters to whatever you're using. So I'm going to make this 0.305, sorry. So that means the radius is 305 millimeters or 30.5 centimeters. And the height, I'm going to make 0.880, which is 88 centimeters or 880 millimeters. I'm not going to do the conversion, sorry, I'm just going to tell you the settings that I'm using from this point forward. So let me just a moment, and we're going to turn the subdivisions down. We don't need, actually, yeah, we'll keep it on 20. It's going to be low polygons anyway. And the only thing I'm going to change is subdivisions in caps. We need 2. So now we're going to right click, go to edge, double click this edge, press R, which is the keyboard shortcut for scale. I'm just going to pull that out, and we're going to go to face. Just going to pull it out a little bit more. Select all these faces here, and if you want to get rid of the scale tool, you just press Q. So I'm just making sure I've only got those top faces, and I'm going to go to Edit Mesh, Extrude. I'm just going to slide this down. So effectively this is going to be the concrete fill level, and the rest of it's going to be the barrel. So the bottom one we're not going to alter, we're just going to leave it, because this is only going to be a simple tutorial. Alright, so when we're looking at the mod, this is the front, so need hitch here and hitches at the side. So I'm going to create another cylinder that is 0.05. That looks a little bit small. So 0.01. And I'm going to rotate 90 degrees Y. Snap it to the grid. So to snap to grid, when you've got the move tool, if you hold X, it'll snap it to the grid. Now I want this cylinder to be 0.840. And slide this back. And we don't need we don't need 20 subdivisions here. We're just going to use 8. Now I'm going to select these faces, side, same on this side. Go edit mesh, extrude, pull it out, and I'm going to select the scale tool, which is there. Scale these. That's not giving me the result that I want, so I'll just have to reselect the edges. Select this edge, scale it up, and repeat the process on this side. We want them to be roughly about the same. So if you go into the side view by pressing the spacebar, you can see all the edges and stuff. Scale this so it matches that one, just roughly. Go back to face mode, so right click, face, select the edges again. Oh, should I say the faces? I'm going to extrude these out again. We've got edit mesh, extrude. These out a little bit further this time. Go edge, select this edge, and scale up a little bit more. Same on this side. There is a way you can do half polygon model and mirror it, but it's a little bit too complicated for a basic tutorial. I'm going to redo this 2 more times. Extrude out. Select this edge. Scale. Go in the side view. I'm actually going to start coming back down to this edge. Same on this one. Just going to bring that one back down. And then we're going to go to face and extrude it 1 more time. So we just slide this out. Edge.
Okay.
And again we're going to scale that down back to, oh, back to this center line here. Same on this side. But like I said, this white isn't going to be anything too fancy. It's going to be really basic. We're going to extrude one more time. We're going to go extrude. This is going to be the final extrude. So we're just going to slide that over. Go to object mode. Now we could make this cylinder radius a little bit bigger. Effectively, these are the 3-point hitch connectors. That's where the 3-point hitch is going to sit. So if we select the barrel, go to poly cylinder 1, we can just up the radius a little bit. So if we go to 0.35, it keeps all the same changes that we made before. The only problem, which isn't really a problem, but the only thing it doesn't do is keep the distance between these two edges, between the outside edge and the inside. But if you select those two edges, you can just scale them out. You end up with the same result, but with a bigger barrel. Now we're going to make the top mount, which we may want to pull this up a little bit more. The top mount is going to be set. Obviously, this is the back, so we're going to put the top mount mounted in here. To make that, make a cube, and the dimensions are going to be width 0.03. The height is going to be 0.15. The depth is 0.1. Now we need to change the subdivisions. The height 3. Not in the height. Is it the width? Alright, so it's depth. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we change the subdivisions of the depth to 3. And we're going to select these two edges, pull them up. So we end up with something like this. Select the bottom faces, hit delete. We don't need them. And we're going to roughly position this in our model. So to help with the positioning, you can use the side view. So first we're going to rotate. We're going to roughly rotate it 45 and get into position. Now it looks a bit thick, so we could always change that by changing the width. So if we go 0, 1, slide it back, probably give it a little bit more rotation, and we're going to position this, translate X at 0.07. Then we're going to duplicate by pressing Ctrl D, and then we're going to put one at negative 0.07. See, that gap's too much, so we're actually going to change this one to 0.4, this one negative value, and end up with something like that. So now we want to make a pin. for the top linkage to hook onto. Just the same process as before. Power cylinder 03, hit 01. We only need 8 divisions in the axis and try point 1 first. I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. Select the object, go inside view and position this. And I'm going to press X, snap it to the grid. There's the top pin. But the edge faces and stuff we don't need. So first we're going to fix the width by clicking back on poly cylinder and we'll try 09. But you can still see it, so we're going to go down to 08. And effectively they want to sit inside, which now they do. So we can isolate the object clicking this little green dash button with a red arrow. Go to face, select all, hold shift, just deselect the middle ones, hit delete, take away the edge faces, because you don't need them. And that is effectively the model. So now if you want to take away some of these hard edges, select the edge, like this, and ignore this middle edge at the bottom. I'm going to go to the edit mesh, looking for bevel, it's here. Go into the bevel options, which is poly bevel 1. We're going to lower this to 0.003. And it just removes those really harsh edges, top and the bottom. We could do the same on this object, So we're going to isolate, select this edge, select this edge. We could also do this one, hit mesh, bevel. And here you might need a different bevel number. So I'm going to put 04 here so it gets a little bit more of a bevel. And rather than reselect the object, the edges for this object, I'm just going to delete that one. Control D and move it over. So by putting a negative, and we end up with the same object with the bevel already applied. And that's about it for the model. Like I say, it's nothing too fancy. So save your scene.